Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 6. My deepest apologies for being a little bit behind on grading with school being out. My son's daycare was also closed. He is 2 years old, and it's next to impossible to get a lot of work done with a toddler at home. So I am slowly working on catching up on all the grading. I think I got most of your narratives graded. I might still have one or two out there, but I will get those graded by tomorrow morning if yours has not been graded yet. Just a little note on those. If you did not get full points, I made notes on your document. So when you go back into the Dropbox and you click on, I can't show you here because I'd have to show you with students, and I can't do that because of FERPA laws. That's one of the downfalls of D2L. There are certain functions I can't show you very well. But so if you go back into your Dropbox, you click on your document, you should see these little blue boxes that have my specific comments about places that maybe needed revision. I also put them there if, like, I think you did something exceptionally well, like, hey, I really like this. I think it was really effective when you did this and why. So if you go through those and look through the comments, and if you want to revise, then you have a week to do so. And you can earn your revision points back, and you just turn them back into that same Dropbox. So if you go back to the Dropbox and you go back to the literacy narrative, it's still technically open. So when you click on it, you can upload another copy. And if you notice here, this is where people have turned in work. I need to grade your 4.1. Sorry about that. Again, that will be graded by tomorrow or Tuesday morning at the latest. D2L lets me know that you've turned something in, and so that way I can go in and grade it. So you have unlimited submissions to every single Dropbox, and so for the literacy narrative, if you choose to revise, you don't have to. Like, if you look at it and go, okay, I've got a 90%, I'm happy with that. You don't have to do anything. But if you decide, hey, I really would like to get the 100%, just do the revision suggestions, do them well. I do check, and you can earn those revision points back. So we are moving right on to our next assignment. So I just wanted to make note about that. So if you go to prompts, which I will also probably link this, go to the interview project. This is going to be our next assignment. So the reason we do this is because in 1010, we discussed primary sources. And when you so in 1020, you will move more into research writing. And so when you're doing research writing, you want to have sources from a variety of sources. So in 1020, we tend to concentrate a little bit more on those secondary sources like academic journals and whatnot. But in 1010, we start on primary research, and a primary source is an interview. And a lot of people tend to forget about interviews. They are great sources for really any type of project that you do. They are actually the most common source, I would say. Most news articles are, in fact, interviews. So if you've read any type of news article, then you have experienced an interview, or if you ever scroll on TikTok or YouTube, a lot of them are interviews with people. So they are a great source for any type of paper that you might be having there where you want a source. So they are very effective in research, but in other ways. And so for this assignment, you will be conducting an interview and using information from that person to construct a little profile of that person. So start by thinking of someone you admire and or would love to get to know more about. This could be a teacher, coach, aunt, grandparent, sibling, mentor. I've had all of those in this particular class. Once you've identified a person, decide what you want to learn about them for the interview. So if it's a grandparent, you might want to learn more about their childhood. Like, hey, tell me about growing up. If it's a parent or mentor, you might want to know why they picked their career or what life choices made them into the person they are today. A few years ago, it was really awesome. I had a student interview her mom who grew up in the 90s like I did. And it was like, so what was school like in the 90s versus what it's like today? And that was kind of the whole premise of her interview. So she constructed kind of like this compare contrast thing where it was like her mom's answers. And then she had like a response of like, yeah, well, this is what it's like today. You know, back in the 90s, we used pagers to try to get a hold of each other. We had to like pull over and find a payphone and call the person. Y'all just pick up a phone now and call people. So it was really fun to kind of go down memory lane with that particular one, just as an example. So the very first thing you're going to do is contact them, tell them, hey, I got this assignment. I want to interview and, Tell them why you chose them in terms that help them appreciate why they're the right person for the interview. Butter them up a little bit if you need to. So be sure to address any confidentiality issues. So for this particular one, we probably will not do a peer review on it just because you are interviewing other people and some people aren't comfortable letting their information be shared. So this is an assignment where you automatically earn the revision, or not revision, but the peer review points. But, tell them that it could be shared potentially. I'm thinking I might not do it for this one. I'll let y'all know. But I will be seeing it. So right now, instructor will be seeing it, maybe a classmate. So agree on an interview time and length. So it can be 10 minutes. It can be 90 minutes. It can vary from interview to interview. So start by making a list of at least 10 questions. You can do more. So these questions should be designed to help you get to know the person better. You have a lot of freedom with this. So again, just like it can be their childhood, life advice, career advice, whatever you want it to do. Avoid questions that have simple yes or no and one word answers. For example, don't ask, what's your favorite color? Or what's your favorite TV show? Because that could be blue. And right now I'm kind of digging, what's that name of that show? Paradise on Hulu right now. It's just one answer. It's like, well, the why. Well, what is your favorite color and why? Like, follow it up with the why if it seems like it's too simple. My favorite color is blue because my children all have blue eyes. And so when I see blue, it makes me think of them. Paradise is probably my favorite TV show right now because it just has a really cool premise and it keeps having these twists and turns that keep you engaged, that type of thing. So, just start thinking of like nice open-ended questions. Be aware of constraints. Don't push your interviewee to answer something that they seem uncomfortable with. Like if you're asking them questions and they're just like you can tell by body language, or they crossing their arms or kind of like going into themselves, or they're trying to give you one word answers for something, for a type of question that would actually involve a much longer response. That means they're probably uncomfortable and you might want to change your direction of your questions. So, these interviews, a lot of times I do encourage face-to-face or over the phone, FaceTime, something like that. If you can't, you can do them over email. Like I've had a lot of people go, hey, I really want to interview like this friend of mine. Like last semester, I had a student whose boyfriend had moved to Alaska and she wanted to do it. I was like, well, if he gets really super busy or like the time, because, we're working with a time constraint here, you can just do it over email. Like if you can't arrange a time to sit down and do it face-to-face. I do recommend if you do it face-to-face, maybe record it. So that way, when you're constructing your profile, which we'll get to in just a second, you have those notes automatically and you can go back and listen to the interview or take notes. And again, if you do it via email, then they've typed out everything. And so that makes it also really, really easy for you. So just some thoughts on that. Once you've constructed your interview, you do your profile. This does not have to be a formal paper. It can be. It can be a thing where you take each one of your questions and construct a paragraph where you talk about your question. If you do write it out, I would suggest doing it this way. Like, what was your question? Why you picked that question? Their answer, and then your thoughts on their response to your questions, and kind of do that for each question. You can make a PowerPoint. Prezi, a podcast. I've had students do that where they sit down and they kind of create this, little podcast type thing, a one-page or infographic video. So it really is wide open. And I'm not going to show you examples right now, but at midweek, I will upload another video where I kind of show you some examples of stuff that students have done and have done really, really effectively. Right now, I just want you to concentrate on who do I want to interview and what do I want to interview them on. So take a few days, think about that, and then I'm going to give you some examples midweek. So if you do choose to do a paper, there's no word count. Just as long as I can tell you you've done at least 10 questions, you can do more. Excuse me. And go from there. And actually that due date's wrong. I'll go and change it. I think yours is actually due the 16th. But anyway, we'll get those examples to you midweek. And if you have any questions about it, just let me know. As I said, just another reminder, get those revisions in on your narratives if you need to. And as always, don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Y'all have a great week.